Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my art studio. This is Sylvie Moon, and I have a new video for you this week. In my grimoire, I'll be painting, ta-da, a Monarch Butterfly. My father had a really great story about the monarchs just recently, and the Monarch Butterfly is a very important symbol and creature in my life. For many years, it's been a very meaningful creature. So to honor it today, I decided to go ahead and paint a Monarch Butterfly themed page and also research and write a little bit about the spiritual significance of the Monarch Butterfly. So here today I'm starting with a pencil sketch, something pretty simple. Even though I'm doing something natural, I still want to just simplify the basic shapes and design of the natural elements that I'm creating to keep it simple for myself, because realism isn't necessarily my forte, but not necessarily my interest. I like to create just design. I love playing with colors and shapes and textures. So that's what we're going to see focused on in this painting today. And I'm just using a regular good old black acrylic paint. Most of this is in acrylic paint and jelly roll markers or pens, and also Posca Paint Pens. So if you're interested in learning more about what paints and things I just use the simple Dollar Tree, not Dollar Tree, but like Walmart, Target, and just any basic craft store you can find these paints. They're like $1 to $2 a piece. The Posca pens are a little more expensive, but if you look for the brand, you'll see many color choices and also many nib sizes, which makes it great for doing detail work. So I guess I could have used a really nice Posca pen for some of the details in this painting. So I'm thinking I gotta get some more pens, my friends. And I also mixed this green paint as well. I've decided not to use the colors straight from the bottle and try mixing a little bit more now that I'm beginning to get more into acrylics. With watercolor, I'm comfortable with all the mixing, but with acrylic, it's a little more unfamiliar to me, so I'm just learning how to make it work. And I kind of think the way I work, gouache paints might work really well for me as well. So I'm going to start looking into that. If anybody here has any suggestions of brands for beginning users of gouache, but someone who has experience in art. As you can see, we're getting a bit of rain this week, and that's been really nice. It's a sign of spring. Excited to see what kind of wildflowers grow on our property this year. I've already shared one of those special flowers, the shooting star, but we have several others on the property currently, and with all of this rain and the sunshine to come in the spring and summer, I am really excited to see what pops up out of the ground. Now, the reason I decided to paint a monarch was because my dad had gone on vacation and had witnessed some monarch butterflies mating. And he had gone to Monterey, California, which is a place where, especially the area of Pacific Grove, where the monarch butterflies stay while in the midst of their 5-generational long migration from Northern America to Mexico and back. And when they're in Pacific Grove, California, they mate. And my dad was telling me that when the male wants to choose a mate, he has to pick her up off the ground and fly her. She has to like literally give up all of her strength and just lay there and wait for the male to pick her up, to literally pick her up and fly into a tree so that they can mate in the trees, in the leaves. And that could take up to like 16 hours is what my dad was told. So, and of course, I'm not surprised the male dies pretty much soon after the fertilization occurs. So that's a lot of work and dedication, my friends. And so that's something that really stood out to me. I've always loved the Monarch Butterfly for many reasons. I think it's a huge symbol in my life. It always comes back to me as something that means a lot, the creature itself, and there's a lot of meaning spiritually and a lot of studies behind this butterfly and how important it is to our environment, to Earth, to our souls. And also, a funny little story is that I got dressed up as a monarch butterfly for one Halloween. And I remember the costume because we were in Carmel and Pacific Grove for vacation when I was a kid. We used to go to Monterey often, and which is one of the places that made me fall in love with nature for sure. So if you haven't been there yet, you got to check it out, my friends. The ocean, wildlife, the environment itself is just so beautiful. So they have, their Monarch Festival, and they celebrate the monarchs passing through, and they have a parade and all sorts of things. And I was really impressed, and I thought it was beautiful, the creatures, the monarchs. I was very young, and I asked to be a monarch butterfly, so my parents cut out some wings from cardboard, and we painted them just like these here. And somehow they rigged it up so that I could wear the wings while walking around and flap them. And I basically just had some black tights and, a little leotard on and a black mask, probably some antenna. Knowing my mom, she and my dad, they were both very detailed in helping me create Halloween costumes, which I'm guessing from a very young age that influenced me becoming an artist. So my parents were both very, very creative. I no longer have my mom on this earth, but my dad is still here. So in fact, this weekend we're going to sell some crafts at a local handmade artisans craft fair. So maybe I'll vlog that a little bit this week for you guys, or put it into next week's video. So as you can see, we've gotten pretty far into this painting now. I've done quite a few little branches. I've added flowers, and did the other side, the other page as well, for the information on the monarch, the notes that I will take and share with you. That's coming up. But I could literally sit here and make these lines all day. I could do painting after painting with these really fun black lines and creating all sorts of weird plants and adding a little fun texture. I feel like this painting is kind of turning out very graphic, kind of poppy. I really like the simple colors. And yeah, so let's get into the information that I thought was most interesting, that I looked up, that I researched about the Monarch Butterfly. Most of it that I looked up was on the spiritual side of the butterfly. I did share some science knowledge in the previous clips, but I really wanted to talk a little bit more about the symbolic importance of the monarch butterfly, what it means to people, and kind of what meanings has it attracted over time. The monarch, of course, the word monarch means queen, king, And so I wrote the queen there because I'm a queen. So I just wanted to remind myself that through the Monarch Butterfly, just to live with my head held high, proud, and be a good leader to all and kind and graceful. Kind of feel like that represents the monarch. Another thing that's important, and it's biological, scientific, is that the monarch really only functions after so much sunlight has it's spent time in sunlight. So if you've gone to see the monarch butterflies, you'll see that they actually look like little leaves all over the trees at night, but when they wake and the sun hits them, they begin to move and wake up. So they also represent that yang energy, the action energy, the opposite of yin, right? The calm energy is the yin, the yang energy is the action, it's the movement. It's also represents the manifestation, the forward movement, inspiration. I wrote it all down here. Transformation. These are symbols or words that symbolize the monarch butterfly. Guiding light, angel guides. A lot of people see them as angel guides. Transformation is a big one, but I really loved what I learned about the monarch butterflies in the Aztec tradition, which you'll see in Mexico for the Day of the Dead. A lot of costumes and artwork and decorations have monarch butterflies, and the reason is because the soul doesn't die. In Aztec beliefs, the soul didn't die, but it lived on in an underworld, and it waited to return to Earth to visit its loved ones. And it was the butterfly that became, this monarch butterfly that became the vessel through which these souls that had passed on Earth could return for a visit. And they would visit on Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, which is November 1st every year. So I love learning about different cultures, Aztec culture being very close to my own, and learning how different cultures see these beautiful creatures. Because in nature, the butterfly goes through so many transformations and so many journeys. It's seen as sort of this transformational creature. It's enlightened. It opens up our awareness. It helps us to focus on, through the monarch, we pay attention to our world around us. Being like the monarch, we shed some light in the dark places. And so it's a symbol of awareness, of waking up, of being more ourselves in a way, to show up and just do the work, because the monarchs, they have 5 generations to travel from one part of the world to the other, and they sacrifice their lives to do this, to be able to continue living on this earth. So no matter the circumstance, just keep showing up, be brave, and trust the plan. So we're just about done with this painting, and I feel really happy with what I've completed, what I've done, what I've accomplished. And I'm so grateful for you being here with me, following me in my process, listening to some of my ramblings, and just being here to support me. I appreciate you all so much. I want to share what has been done in the grimoire so far this year. And while I'm flipping through these pages, I just want to say, if you have yet to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers this year. And so far I'm behind, but that's okay. I am just setting the goal and hoping to reach it by the end of 2022. And maybe share, maybe like this video. I really appreciate it. And I shall see you next week. Bye-bye.